The library doors closed that night, and the woman was left alone. Outside, autumn rain quietly tapped against the windows. Inside, there was only the familiar scent of old books, paper, leather, and the dusty memories of the past. Elena walked toward the depths of the library to check the final shelves, as she always did. Her footsteps created soft creaks on the wooden floors. She had worked here for 45 years. 45 years. She knew every book within these walls, memorized the location of every shelf. But in recent months, something had changed. Every night after closing time, precisely at 11 o'clock, someone was coming. At first, it had been just a feeling, the sense that someone was behind her. Then she'd heard sounds, the soft rustling of pages, slow breathing. But when she turned, no one was there. Only books, shelves, and silence. Until 3 weeks ago. That night, it had been raining too. Elena was organizing shelves in the history section on the second floor when she suddenly felt a presence. But this time, she didn't dare turn around, because this time she knew that presence was real. She held her breath, her hands beginning to tremble. Someone was standing behind her, silently, motionless. "Good evening," whispered a voice. Elena turned slowly. Before her stood an elderly man. He had curly white hair, a face covered in deep lines, and those strange gray eyes. His clothing looked old-fashioned, a dark coat, wool vest, and an antique hat. But the strangest thing was how he had gotten inside. The doors were locked, the alarm systems were active. How did I not see you?" asked Elena, her voice trembling. The man smiled. "Because you didn't want to see me. People generally only see what they wish to see, don't they?" Elena stepped back. Her heart was pounding. Who are you?" "My name isn't important," said the man, beginning to walk between the shelves. His fingers glided along the spines of books, as if caressing old friends. "I'm just a visitor, like you, someone who loves books." "But this place is closed. You need to leave." The man stopped. He pulled a book from the shelf, examined it carefully. "This one," he said softly, 1847, first edition, beautiful binding work. But you know what's more interesting? The person who donated this book left a note inside. Page 47. Did you ever find it?" Elena's eyes widened. She had cataloged that book herself 20 years ago. She had never opened page 47. "How do you know that?" But the man didn't answer. Instead, he carefully placed the book back and continued walking. Elena followed him, her fear now mixed with curiosity. Who was this man? How did he know so much about the library? They reached the restricted section. The oldest books were kept here, some dating back to the 15th century. The man stopped in front of a locked glass case. Inside sat a single book, bound in worn black leather, with no title on its cover. "This one," he said, his voice barely audible. "This is what I came for." Elena frowned. "That book? I've never been able to open it. It's been here since before I started working. No one knows what's inside." "I know," said the man, "because it's not meant to be opened. Not yet." "What do you mean?" The man turned to her. His gray eyes seemed to hold centuries of wisdom. "Every library has a book like this, Elena. A book that waits. A book that holds not words, but silence. Not stories, but the spaces between stories." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. That's impossible." "Is it?" The man smiled again. "You've felt it, haven't you? In the quiet moments, when you're alone here at night, the feeling that these books are alive, that they breathe, that they wait, that they remember. She wanted to deny it, but she couldn't, because he was right. She had felt it. Every night, in the silence after closing, she had sensed that the library was more than just a building full of books. It was a living thing, a keeper of memories, a guardian of forgotten truths. "Why are you here?" she whispered. "Because it's time," said the man. He reached into his coat and pulled out a key. It was old, made of tarnished brass, with intricate patterns carved into its surface. Every 100 years, the book opens. For one night, for one person. Tonight is that night. And you are that person. Elena's breath caught. "Me? Why me?" "Because you've devoted your life to this place. Because you understand. Because you're ready." He held out the key. Elena stared at it, her hand trembling as she reached forward. The moment her fingers touched the cold metal, she felt something shift in the air around them. The lights flickered. The rain outside grew louder. And from somewhere deep within the library, she heard a sound like a long, slow exhale. The man stepped back. "Open it. But remember, once you read what's inside, everything changes. You'll see the world differently. You'll understand things you were never meant to understand. There's no going back." Elena looked at the glass case, at the mysterious black book inside. Her entire life had led to this moment. 45 years of caring for these books, of preserving knowledge, of serving silence. She inserted the key into the lock. It turned smoothly, as if it had been waiting for her all along. The glass door swung open. She reached inside and lifted the book. It was heavier than she expected, and warm, as if it had been held by someone just moments before. With shaking hands, she opened the cover. The pages were blank. Elena looked up in confusion, but the man was gone. She was alone in the restricted section, holding an empty book, rain drumming against the windows. Had she imagined it all? Had she fallen asleep at her desk and dreamed this strange encounter? But then she noticed something. The blank pages weren't quite blank. As she stared at them, faint words began to appear, written in silver ink that seemed to glow in the dim light. They formed slowly, letter by letter, as if someone invisible was writing them at that very moment. "To Elena," the words read, "keeper of stories, guardian of silence, you have been chosen to write the final chapter. The story that ends all stories. The tale that explains why humans need tales. Begin now. You have until dawn." Elena's heart raced. She looked around the empty library, at the thousands of books surrounding her, each one containing a world, a life, a truth. And now she was being asked to write something that would complete them all? She carried the book to her desk, set it down under the lamp, and picked up her pen. Outside, the rain continued to fall. Inside, the books seemed to lean closer, as if eager to hear what she would write. And so she began. She wrote about a library, about a woman who had spent her life among books, about the night a strange visitor came and showed her that every story ever written was connected, that every character ever created was real in some way, that every word ever read changed the reader forever. She wrote about loneliness and companionship, about the silence between words being just as important as the words themselves. She wrote about how books were bridges between souls, connecting people across time and space, across life and death. The words flowed from her pen like water, natural and unstoppable. Hours passed. The rain slowed to a drizzle. The darkness outside began to soften into gray pre-dawn light. And when she finally wrote the last sentence, when she set down her pen and closed the black book, she felt something profound shift inside her. She understood now. The library wasn't just a collection of books. It was a living archive of human consciousness. And she wasn't just a librarian. She was a guardian of dreams. The black book grew warm in her hands, then faded, becoming transparent until it vanished completely. But Elena wasn't afraid. She knew it would return, 100 years from now, for whoever would be here to receive it. She stood, walked to the window, and watched the sun rise over the city. Behind her, the books rested peacefully on their shelves, their stories safe for another day. And in that moment, Elena smiled, because she finally knew the answer to the question she'd carried for 45 years. Why did she love this place so much? Because the library had been waiting for her, just as she had been waiting for it. And now, at last, they were complete.